Did you sleep last night?
I did. I slept very well last night.
Did you go back to watch that game?
Just starting to sit down right now to watch it.
Can you speak to? There were comments from Pittsburgh at the end of Game 3 that they felt like your inexperience showed in that game. Did you grow up in the span of 2 days, or how differently did you handle being down 3-0 last night? Was it a lesson learned, or was it not inexperienced?
I think going back to Game 3, somebody asked me about the leads and what is it, and you always have to give some credit to your opposition and who you're playing, and it's not 100% us in Game 3. And I don't think it was 100% them. They had their moments where they put pressure on you and create some turnovers and put you in tough spots. So some of it was based off of them and what they were doing, but some of it is just based off of maybe a little bit of experience in the moments. And the more that we can get ourselves in these moments, the more it pays off. Whether it's later on in this series, or if we're lucky enough to win this series, it may help you in the next series or as you move on in the playoffs. But that's part of, again, being a young team and maturing. You got to get yourself in as many moments as you can, whether it's regular season playing in big games, whether it's playoffs playing in big games. That's how you grow.
End of the third period, 35 seconds left or so, and Crosby's going down chasing the puck. What are your thoughts at that point?
You know what? I honestly don't remember that point. There are certain things I do remember about the game. I don't recall Crosby chasing the puck down. Obviously, he did. I'll take your word for that. But I think there are other things that happened probably afterwards that I remember a little bit more than Crosby chasing the puck down the ice.
Todd, do you think you'll have Tootin or Murray at all the remainder of the series?
No, we're hoping that Tootin and Murray will be back in the series, and don't know if it'll be Saturday, but next game is Monday, so we're hoping to get them back. Yes.
Todd, if I were an outsider who hadn't watched the games and seeing 7 goals scored tonight, I know what I would think about the goaltending. But as someone who has lived through it, what has the goaltending been like in this series?
I think the goaltending's been, what you expect it to be. You got 2 very good goaltenders. It's not that they're perfect, either one, but they're no different than any other player out on the ice. They're going to make mistakes, and unfortunately, when goaltenders make mistakes, it's right there in front of you, because usually the puck is going in the net. And the goaltenders are usually the ones that are bailing out a lot of the players out of their mistakes, and maybe those mistakes aren't as front and center. And you're able to forget those because the goalie makes a save. But when the goalie makes a mistake, it ends up in the net. But I think you go back and you look at the games and how the goaltenders have played. I think it's been a good battle between those two.
Todd, you had twice as many shots on goal last night as you did in Game 3. I'm not saying that 46 shots you get necessarily attainable, but how do you get maybe closer to that number than you do to 20 in Game 5?
How did we?
No, just how do you in Game 5 now? How do you kind of get back toward that 46 mark and not around 20 now?
Stay out of the box. First and foremost, penalties, and I'm sure they're probably saying the same thing today. When you give a team 6 opportunities, 8 opportunities, which we have against Pittsburgh, you're going to spend more time killing, spend more time in your own zone, which means you're spending less time in the offensive zone generating the offensive opportunities, generating shots that you want to create, which hopefully will lead to goals or creating some positive momentum. That's the biggest thing.
But last night too, with 46 shots and goals for you guys, I mean, a lot of those came on the power plays, obviously, but can you do something maybe different 5-on-5 to kind of generate that kind of those scoring chances as well, or how do you see it?
Yeah, I don't know. Off the top of my head, what the shots were 5-on-5 or what they were power play. I didn't come out of the game thinking that we really got to work on our 5-on-5 game to generate more offense. You're always looking to do that. They defend well. They do a lot of good things in the neutral zone to deny you rush opportunities, and it turns into that grind game, which we like. But I think we're always searching for more. We can go to the front of the net more, create more of those scrums. I think our defensemen can still I think we're better, but I still think we can be better at getting pucks to the net from the back end. But I don't come out of the game thinking, we gotta worry about this, worry about that offensively.
Todd, your guys have learned now how to win a playoff game on the road, how to win one at home. Is the next lesson they have to learn how to deal with success?
Dealing with this. I think our group has been really focused on the next game. I believe we've been able to put, I think early on in the year, and I'm talking regular season, I think that was something we needed to learn and understand how to deal with success. I think our group has been very good about, and it's something that we've talked about being able to put games behind us, good or bad. So, there's an obvious high coming out of last night's game, a good feeling coming out of last night's game. And I think our players will enjoy it today, and they should. But when we come in tomorrow, it's about putting it behind us and getting ready for the next game. There's, things that when you have success, you want to build upon, and that's what we want to learn and go from there. But our guys have done a good job with that.
There's been tremendous momentum shifts, not just between periods, but between minutes inside periods, let alone between games. Does momentum favor either team at this point? It's 2-2, and you won the last game, but does anybody have an upper hand in that regard?
I don't think so. The way that this season has gone, the series has gone, is, one team wins, the other team responds. One team wins, the other team responds. There's the response that you're looking for after a win or after a defeat. There's responses in games that changes the momentum of the game. Particular plays, power plays. We got a lot of our momentum last night off of our power play. We scored 2 big goals. If Boone doesn't score there in the first, who knows what the outcome is. And what that did is it gave, our fans were great. I said it last night, they were great. And when you go back and, again, things that you do remember about the game, I do remember being down 3-0 and our fans staying into the game. And then we scored the goal, and again, you could feel the life start to build from there, and that gave us life. So it was a big power play there. And then the second period, again, scoring a big power play goal, and that gave our fans hope, and I think that gave us hope. But that was a big momentum swing in the game.
Todd, for those of us that have been here from the beginning, we know what we have in Columbus, but now, to the casual fan, and a lot of people are seeing the Columbus Blue Jackets take on the mighty Pittsburgh Penguins. The national perception of the Penguins and getting the Jackets getting some great publicity. You're high up in the Sports Center shows now. Nick was #1 on the top 10 plays. What does that mean to get the word out about the Blue Jackets? And this isn't just a bottom seller team that people think about. The national perception of the Jackets.
It's something that has to be worked at. It doesn't happen overnight. I don't think it can happen overnight. The natural growth of anything, to me, is a process. And you had to start somewhere. I think this organization has started somewhere, and it's growing, it's building. I'll tell you what, this arena, this building, we were just talking about this morning as coaches. Craig Hartsburg was talking about, he played in the old Chicago Stadium and how great that building was to play and how loud it could get. And it's been a while for Craig, but he comes in here last night and he talks about how this building was. And that's all, to me, part of it. And that's what makes it great is, again, the struggles are what makes you're able to enjoy the success more, having gone through the struggles. And I know there's been struggles here. The fans have been great because they've stuck through it. There's been players here that have been through it. There's been people in management and staff that have been through it, and that's what makes this process great. And it is nice now that again, through the success, that's the only way you're going to get some credibility, and you're going to start getting some acknowledgement. But you have to win, and you have to do it the right way.
But you Coached in San Jose, which is one of the loudest buildings in the league. Was this as loud as you've heard a building?
Yes. It's
Even louder?
San Jose was loud, and I think this building was louder. And again, for me, it was one of those moments again. I think it might have been a timeout where I was scanning the crowd again. Just, again, seeing the excitement in the stands by our fans. And probably nervous and, anticipation, all of those adjectives. You could see it all.
Have you ever instructed your goalie, or would you instruct your goalie when you've got the lead in the last minute to never leave the crease to play a puck?
I've never said that to a goalie. It does come down to game management and understanding. But again, you can learn a lot by watching situations.
Todd, there were a couple former Jackets shown on the video board last night. I just wonder if any of them have stopped in, popped their head in, and reflected on what your success has meant to them.
No, none of them have.
How hard is it as a coach to know how many minutes is too many for Jack Johnson? Because, there has to be a ceiling somewhere, right?
I don't think there is. I think we're Jack's ceiling is outside somewhere. It is impressive. And there was a shift in the second period. They had the power play, and I think we spent pretty much the whole 2 minutes in our own zone. Maybe it wasn't quite 2 minutes, but we had a chance for a rush to go the other way. And he shot out of the defensive zone like he had just gotten out onto the ice. So it is impressive, the minutes that he's able to log. His shift length, if he does get caught out, he still seems to have energy. And he's playing tough minutes. They aren't easy. He's playing against great players, top-end players, world-class players, and then he's able to do it over and over again.
With Tootin out, Savard moved up into that spot next to Johnson. Can you just speak to the way that he's handled some heavy lifting here the last couple of games?
I've been impressed with, really, David. He's deceptively strong and powerful. I think, and maybe it's just that I haven't seen enough of his game to see more of that. You watch Jack Johnson play, and you've seen him enough. You understand that there's a lot of power there. But Savvy can play a heavy game too. And again, when you're paired with Jack, you're going to get those types of shifts and those minutes where you're going to have to be big and strong in the corners and go into corners hard in front of the net. And he's done that. He's been a guy this year that success-wise for our team. A guy that at the start of training camp you're wondering if he's going to be on the team or not, has stepped in and really proven this year. And he still has a long ways to go in his career. And he's probably going to have to, again, prove it again next year, just being a young guy. But he's proved this year that he can be a really good NHL player.